I'm sick of every time a black woman breaks a sports record, achieves success, or excels at any given task nowadays. It's because of black girl magic. I hate this term for a lot of reasons, and I'm going to explain why in this video. I do realize that for many black women and girls all around the world, they see black girl magic as a sort of way to recognize the astonishing achievements of black women that may have previously gone unnoticed. In 2013, an activist by the name of Keshawn Thompson popularized the phrase, and since then you see it on clothes, on social media, and according to Wikipedia, Ms. Thompson wants to use black girl magic as a rallying cry in hopes of counteracting the negativity society places on black women. I was even told by a sister that the term is empowering. I noticed that once the phrase got hot, Hollywood caught on, and everybody from Michelle Obama to Willow Smith to Lupita Nyong'o went on social media wearing black girl magic attire using the hashtag. Again, every time a black woman does something incredible, it's black girl magic. I'm going to use Simone Biles as an example. If you're not sure who she is, she's a gymnast. You really don't have to follow track and field to know that Simone right now is the most talented athlete in the world. At the last world competition in Germany about 3 weeks ago, Simone broke the all-time record for the most medals ever. Not just men's competition, not just women's, not just gymnastics only, but ever, period. And the 2020 Summer Olympics will be here just before you know it. So just consider the World Games as a preview to the Olympics. If she stays injury-free, which I pray she does, Simone is going to bring home more gold medals than Michael Phelps did swimming. And if anybody wants to bet against me, I will happily take that bet. But you know, as soon as she starts breaking Olympic records, the first thing out of niggas' mouths is going to be black girl magic. Nobody's going to care that she was raised in foster care a lot of her life because her mother wasn't there for her and her 3 siblings. Her and her youngest sibling went with the grandparents. The 2 eldest went with their biological father. Nobody will know what it was like for her to go from public school to homeschool just so she could train more. She's been doing gymnastics since the age of 6. Most of you out there that have kids who play sports know how much uniforms, registration fees, monthly dues are, and how many miles and miles you have to drive to go from game to game, especially if they make it to region or state. You may have to go out and help Junior raise money by washing cars or selling candy to get jerseys. But in an individual sport like gymnastics, once you get recognized nationally, it's a whole different world than what you're used to with your little football and baseball and cheerleaders. You have to have world-class coaches and trainers. You have to travel all around the world to compete. And mommy and daddy may not always get free airfare to come watch you perform at every event. So you're left at the mercy of handlers in a new state, or for that matter, a new country full of strangers. Nobody stops to think the physical wear and tear Simone puts on her body, having to do those grueling, repetitious exercises with her and her fellow gymnasts, while for years being sexually assaulted by their instructor, who they spent 20 to 32 hours a week with as little girls. Someone their parents trusted until this day. After all that, she still puts the abuse and her broken family life in the back of her mind and still performs her routines flawlessly. This woman has two moves named after her that are so difficult male athletes will not even attempt to do it. The first move, the Biles, is a double twisting, double tuck somersault dismount on the balance beam. The Biles 2, a triple twisting, double tuck somersault on floor exercise. I saw her do it on NBC, and it was so fast I could barely see it. I didn't know what was so special about it. I had to watch it 3 or 4 times. Now, where some people call that black girl magic, I need to clarify 2 things. First off, Simone is not a girl. She's a 22-year-old woman who deserves the respect that a woman deserves. I also refuse to diminish this woman's accomplishments, her struggles, her sacrifices, her talent, or her years of training to magic. You weren't watching magic out there. That was 16 straight years of hell. And while I'm addressing this girl part, this girl thing, it took a long time for the white man to stop comfortably, cavalierly calling us boy, even in a joking manner. So I don't expect a grown, respectable black woman who walks around and calls herself a queen to be comfortable being called girl, unless it's being used jokingly among friends, but not by an outsider, and especially not as a compliment. I feel like it's really disrespectful, actually. I wish someone would refer to me and my son with the phrase black boy magic or just boy in general. I'm liable to hurt somebody. And while we're talking about magic, let's talk about the magical Negro. Oh, that magical Negro. They've been writing about him since before we were dropped off here. In plays and movies, the magical Negro has always had some incredible healing power. He's super strong, or acts like an angel on the white man's shoulder, giving him all this great advice and wisdom, and usually in secret. Like the show Touched by an Angel, they're usually a janitor or a prisoner. They're retarded, impaired, or just old. So if you think about it, Touched by an Angel, The Green Mile, John Henry, the Still Driving Man we learned about when we were kids, Bruce Almighty, Evan Almighty, The Legend of Bagger Vance, and almost every old Sidney Poitier movie, the Defiant Ones, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. That was the worst of the worst. And then you have the movie he made with the old German nuns. But again, there's enough examples of the magical Negro in history and culture. An article in the 2009 edition of the journal Social Problems, they stated that the magical Negro was an expression of racial profiling within the United States. The article states, these powers are used to save and transform disheveled, uncultured, lost, or broken whites, almost exclusively white men, into competent, successful, and content people within the context of the American myth of redemption and salvation. It is this feature of the magical Negro that some find most troubling. Although from a certain perspective, the character may seem to be showing blacks in a positive light, the character is still ultimately subordinate to whites. He or she is also regarded as an exception, allowing white America to like individual black people, but not black culture. Now, in my opinion, even if we take gender out, we're still left with black magic. And what comes to mind when you think of black magic? What, voodoo, sorcery, negative energy used for selfish reasons to hurt people? See, they don't ever want to see a black woman become a fighter pilot or an astronaut. That has to be magic. 15-year-old girl gets admitted to Harvard. Oh, that's black girl magic. Not a hardworking genius from a loving black home. Now, let's discredit all of that. And please don't get me started on if Meghan McCain goes on The View after watching Venus and Serena Williams get beat by Carolyn Wozniacki and some other white girl and say, hey, look at that white girl magic. Ooh, did you see that white girl magic at Wimbledon yesterday when the Williams sisters went down? Oh, you wouldn't like that, would you? I didn't think so. Then again, if a Chinese-born immigrant becomes the first Asian mayor of his town, is that Chinese boy magic? Because as soon as a black woman becomes the first mayor of black mayor of her hometown, that's black girl magic. But Chinese boy magic just sounds stupid, doesn't it? Yeah, I thought so. I realized we were robbed of our identity, culture, and heritage because of slavery, and we substituted what we lost with a bunch of follow the leader bullshit. whether it's with fashion, music, or religion. A lot of blacks are raised to fit in, never be different, because the nail that sticks up typically gets hammered down. If you speak too properly, if you think you're better, if you're light skinned, they think you're cute, or white people favor you. If you're dark, then that means people don't like you or don't trust you. I've literally seen well spoken, intelligent Negroes get around hood niggas and start speaking slang or play dumb about a topic as to not come off as smart as they normally are, just so they fit in with the hood niggas. And that trips me out. By losing our identity, we've looked other places to find pride. You know, we want to have our own holidays to celebrate and things that tie people together. See, most Europeans can trace their family back to the fatherland and back several generations, so the Irish can celebrate St. Patrick's Day and know its meaning. Germans have Oktoberfest and know what it's about. What do we have? We have Juneteenth, Kwanzaa, and then we just throw ourselves in what everybody else is doing. It's Negroes out there, black as the ace of spades, who took a DNA test that told them they were 5% Irish. So now all of a sudden, they're the first ones at the St. Patrick's Day parade, drinking a green beer, wearing a Kiss Me I'm Irish t-shirt, looking like a stupid ass. See, after slavery, apartheid, genocide, segregation, Jim Crow, crack cocaine, AIDS, police brutality, mass incarceration, we need a silver lining in the dark clouds that hover over us as black people. We don't want our accomplishments to go unnoticed, that of our women or our men. When we see the youngest black judge get appointed to the bench, don't call it black magic. Call it what it is. Call it black power. When you watch the Olympics next year, and you know how in the 400-meter dash, they hand off the batons. Each runner runs a 100-mile dash, a 100-meter dash, rather. You know, most of the time you see sisters win those races. This year, it's going to be neck and neck between Jamaica, Great Britain, and the United States. They have the 3 fastest teams in the world. When you see those last 3 girls on that final stretch, and it looks like they're 25 to 50 yards ahead of all the other girls out there, whether they be white, Chinese, Hispanic, whatever, don't call it black girl magic. Call it what it is. You call it black power. When you see a black running back knock over a defender, when LeBron James comes down the lane for a monster dunk, nowadays they want to call these guys beasts. That's the first thing out of people's mouth. He's a beast. He's a beast. Well, according to the dictionary, beast is an animal under human control. About sounds like a slave, right? As soon as one of those players gets in any sort of legal trouble whatsoever, especially sexual assault, they're also called beasts again, but not in a good way. Look, it's not my place to tell you how to live. If you need catchphrases to make you feel better about yourself and your situation, be my guest. Anything and everything I've accomplished in my life came from God. So if it makes you feel special and important, keep your black girl magic. I'll call it black power. And on a higher plane, I'll call it God's will. I'll see y'all around.